Hi there everyone, GuardianE here with another live reaction and first impression video for Fire Emblem Heroes. We've got the silhouette pulled up here for the next set of special heroes, the next seasonals that are going to drop later this week, and of course it is time for ninjas, and they did not disappoint. So the silhouette here, the left figure definitely looks like Zelgius' haircut with a headband. It seems like that is the prevailing theory. The figure on the right does appear to be a female. Beyond that, I haven't really a clue, so let's go ahead and pull up the trailer. We'll watch it together raw for the first time, react to the reveals, and then, of course, go through once again to just evaluate the characters and the banner as a whole. So let's get started. Alright, let's get this show on the road. Get ready for some Nimpo, some slinking in the shadows, some lurking in the shadows, apparently. So we are going to be getting some ninjas, of course, special heroes to battle. And who have we got? Yep, there he is. Unmistakable. Ninja Knight. Very straightforward moniker. So he's going to be a Lance armor unit. Love the Hoshiden-inspired armor. Very samurai-esque. The red and the gold, very royal in nature. Scarlet Spear, Lightless Luna. Alright, so a different take on Black Luna. He's got the ninja headband as well. And oh, look at this art. Absolutely gorgeous. Wandering Ninja. Really beautiful colors throughout. Better eyelashes. Heather as an infantry green dagger unit. She gets a rally and then another action. Okay, interesting. We'll see what her kit beholds, but apparently she does get multiple actions. Spy's Shuriken. That giant Shuriken, really beautiful stuff. She looks great. And that is going to be Reina, right? So that's Sanguine Shinobi, I know, or Sanguine, I can't remember. So people that have been asking for Reina for years now finally have her in the game as a 4-star focus unit, so she is going to be a flying green archer.
Scream for me?
Yep. Really, really cool animation with the actual attack. And alright, we've got Micaiah and Sanaki, Dawnsworn Ninja. Not necessarily who I think of when I think of ninja. So they're going to be Cavalry Red Tome unit. Radiant Scrolls, Flared Mirror for the A slot. Interesting, that's going to be a new skill. Oh, damage before, like it. So it's in combat damage before the attack. Interesting. All right, duo skill grants another action. Well, we can. That's very, very straightforward, and that's very in line with what we've seen ninja units get pretty often as duos. So that's not terribly surprising. But yeah, I certainly very, very popular pick for the duo. Again, not who I necessarily think of when I think of ninjas, but nonetheless, they're probably going to be pretty busted. So, all right, Paralog Story, Our Path Ahead. Interesting medley of characters, I have to say. And let's see, that looks like Saizo there as the... I don't know if it's an infantry lancer or an armored lancer, but he is on his feet. So, feels like there's going to be a variant of Saizo, interestingly enough, as the free unit. It's pretty nice. Anything else? Any other secrets and surprises they have hidden here? No, just going to be the Fey Pass Spark that's available. So, again, starting on the 6th of November and going for the entire month, special heroes are here. Our Path Ahead, so the Ninja banner, the Ninja seasonals of 2023, and the duo featuring Sanaki and Micaiah. Reina is going to be the 4-star focus on green and going to be color sharing with Heather, and that does mean that colorless is going to be the lone color out. So no focus units on colorless, you can safely skip that color. And yeah, alright. Well, I do think that Reina fans will be happy that she's finally in the game. I know people have been waiting for a very, very long time. She is the 4-star focus unit, which is a double-edged sword. That does mean that she's probably going to be a pretty decent, easy merge project. At the same time, may not come fully kitted with the best stuff as the 4-star focus unit. We're going to take a closer look, of course. Yeah, I will say it's certainly an interesting medley of characters and representations here. Again, some fan favorites, some characters that have not been in the game like Reina that people have been waiting for. First impressions, like out of the gate, I'm not just throwing my orbs at the screen. I'm not saying like immediate, down to zero spark, must summon immediately type of thing. But nonetheless, I am intrigued. I want to take a closer look. So once again, Zelgius as an armored lancer here. He looks large, imposing. I love the flourish and the finish of the red and gold armor. Obviously Hoshidan inspired, Japanese inspired. It looks like a samurai, essentially, and I think he really looks the part. It looks really great on him. And there is the mesh with that, with the black lining, as well as the ochre cloak that he has on underneath. And then he is wielding, I guess that would be a naginata, in the spear arena, the lance arena, and then of course he has the ninja headband as well. And of course, very no-nonsense expression. But he looks large. He looks imposing. He looks stalwart. I think they represented him pretty well here. So Zelgius is going to have Scarlet Spear. It's his own unique weapon. 11 might. Killer Slaying effect. Unit attacks twice, even if foe initiates combat. So Brave effect on both player and enemy phase. At start of combat, if unit has at least 25% HP, grants attack plus X to unit, and inflicts attack minus X on foe during combat, where X equals 25% of foe's attack at the start of combat, minus 2. Min 6, max 16. Okay. Reduces damage from attacks by 30% during combat, excluding AoE special, so just straight up always 30% damage reduction, and restores 7 HP to unit after combat. Okay, alright, so I like it. There's a nice package of things in there, kind of going along thematically with the ninja banners. He is going to be a brave unit, and so he is going to be able to enemy phase and attack twice on enemy phase. It is interesting that the attack boost that he gets scales with the foe's attack rather than his own. So it's always sort of an interesting dynamic because it's not something necessarily in your control, right? The foe's attack. At the same time, in most competitive modes, you're going to be facing off against units that have pretty staggering attack. So 25% of foe's attack and a max of 16. A max of 16 would mean about 64 or 66 attack, which is something that is quite achievable these days. Pretty easy to achieve, I would say. So getting plus 16 attack and then minus 16 attack on the enemy, that's a lot. That's a big debuff. That is a very, very big debuff on the enemy. And then a big buff to his own attack, especially since, again, he attacks twice in a row. So that is quite powerful. Quite a powerful effect. We've got Lightless Luna at 3 cooldown. Treats foe's defense res as if reduced by 80% when special triggers. If units or foe's special is ready or triggered before or during combat, reduces damage from foe's next attack by 40% once per combat, excluding AoE specials. So they added a defensive damage reduction mechanism to Lightless Luna. So even today, Black Luna is still pretty busted in what it does. Like, Black Luna is still such a powerhouse special, and so Lightless Luna, basically from an enemy phase perspective, what it means is that if he has Lightless Luna at the ready, he's enemy phasing, and the enemy attacks into him, he's going to enjoy a 40% damage reduction that stacks with the 30% damage reduction that Scarlet Spear has, multiplicatively, and those will amplify themselves. So that means that it's gonna reduce the damage by a heavy amount on the attack into him, and then he's gonna retaliate with Lightless Luna, which is gonna do a boatload of damage. Distant Defense Res Solo for the A slot. Unit can counterattack regardless of foe's range. If unit is not adjacent to an ally, grants defense res plus 5 to unit during combat. That's obviously excellent for him. It's going to give him distant counter that is not built into his weapon. It's going to give him defensive boosts, which is what he's really going to want as an enemy phase or a tanky armor unit. Special Fighter 4 is going to be a great fit for him. It's going to have special cooldown charge at the beginning of the turn, as well as damage reduction, health restoration, deep wounds, reducing the effect of deep wounds as well, so that he does take advantage of the health restoration of Special Fighter 4 as well as Scarlet Spear, so that's pretty nice. And then Assault Troop 3, which is the whole charge mechanic that allows him to traverse 3 tiles as an armored unit. So yeah, Zelgius is going to be a powerhouse, a defensive powerhouse that is going to brave attack back, is going to have that Lightless Luna ready to proc upon getting enemy phased, and he's going to enjoy a lot of damage reduction, a lot of healing in the process. And the Lightless Luna, I mean, it's one of those things that is timeless. So Black Luna, like I said, till today is still extremely powerful. It ages very, very well, and Lightless Luna is going to be the same deal. So that alone, for the longevity of Zelgius as a unit, is quite promising. So here is Heather. She is going to be an infantry green dagger unit. I really love the design, just how colorful her Kunoichi outfit is. Love the indigos and the purples, and then the contrast with sort of the grassy green sash that she has, the obi, and then even the red lining along the sides and the actual front flap as well. Just really striking overall. I think just the color combination, you know, as a Shinobi, as a Kunoichi, arguably, maybe she needs to be a little bit more covert. But that being said, there's no denying how flattering the colors and the look is, the body-hugging outfit. You know, even the pattern in the scarf, really, really beautiful with sort of the wind motif and the blossom petals. Those piercing emerald eyes, that knowing smile, honey blonde hair accented with that single, vivid crimson ribbon that just flutters in the breeze. Really, really great stuff. So Heather comes with Spies, Shuriken, 9 Might, Killer Slang effect. If unit initiates combat, unit attacks twice, so she does have a Brave effect on player phase. At start of combat, if unit has at least 25% HP, grants +5 to all stats during combat. If a Rally Assist skill is used by unit or targets unit, grants null follow-up to unit and target or targeting ally and inflicts exposure on foes in cardinal directions of unit and target or targeting ally through their next actions. If Rally Assist is used by unit, grants another action to unit. Additional action granted once per turn, only affect Dagger 7 as well. So yeah, so she does have a very unique mechanic. I like that she has kind of developed into having her own specific speciality, right? So she's a Brave Dagger player phase unit, which is not too atypical. But the Killer Slaying effect is also very, very nice for her to have. And then the whole rally refresh thing is really cool. Very, very few units are able to do something like that or something similar to it. And then she has all of these different effects tied into her rally. So when she does rally, she and her ally get null follow-up, and also there is the cardinal direction debuff of exposure on the enemy. And those things together are really powerful effects. It'll synergize a lot with a lot of characters that get additional effects and boosts based upon the number of buffs activated on the unit. You know, it's just another set of buffs to take advantage of there. And the fact that she gets a refresh afterwards, that's always kind of I think the central issue with having rallies on your assists in general is how limiting it is from a mobility perspective. But this does kind of eliminate that because it encourages her to use the rally so that she is able to get another turn and then attack in the same turn. So naturally, to take advantage of that, she has rally attack speed plus. And then Remote Sparrow for the A slot, that isn't going to increase her offensive capabilities, quadding potential. Additionally, will increase her tankiness with the damage reduction built in. And then Speed Defense Ruse 4 for the B slot. So inflict Speed Defense -4 on foe during combat. If a Rally Assist skill is used by unit or targets unit, inflict Speed Defense -6, Guard, Discord, and Schism on foes in cardinal directions of unit and target through their next actions. Schism neutralizes Triangle Attack, Dual Strike, and Pathfinder effects active on unit through unit's next action. Unit is excluded from ally Triangle Attack and Dual Strike effects calculated using number of allies. When this status, Schism, is neutralized, Triangle Attack, Dual Strike, and Pathfinder effects are also neutralized. It's really a natural pick, and I love how it does synergize with the rest of her kit to really complete this whole archetype that she represents. So Speed Defense Ruse 4 is obviously going to work in tandem with all of the debuffs and buffs that Spy Shuriken grants, and then she of course has an assist, a rally assist. And then, so Speed Defense Ruse is also going to give the in-combat debuff of Speed and Defense -4. That's naturally going to just enhance her ability to quad and do more damage in general. And then this plethora of different debuffs on the enemy that are activated debuffs. It's really a pretty debilitating set of debuffs that she imposes on the enemy as activated debuffs through the Ruse 4 skill. And then also just eliminates a lot of really nasty effects that are active on a lot of meta enemy teams and units that are out there. A lot of just trickiness in general, the dual strike, the triangle attack, the Pathfinder, and those are all things that you see. They're very common effects out there, very powerful effects as well. Being able to just shut those down through an assist activation is really nice. And that actually, I mean, she brings life, I feel, to the ruse skills based upon her archetype and what she sets out to do. So she's going to be sort of this huge targeting support / debuffer on the team, in addition to hitting like a truck, being able to probably quad, I mean, at least double, and that clearly that's part of her kit in general, but I think just the value and utility that she has to a team to be able to bestow this stuff really opens up a lot of strategies. I think it's a fun kit. I think that's really kind of the big takeaway, is that I think it's unique and fun. So here is Reina finally in the game as a flying green archer. And despite her being a seasonal variant, this doesn't really seem to be a huge departure from, or a huge deviation from her original outfit. A lot of similarities, even the color scheme, very, very similar. I don't remember the purple scarf, so that could be completely new. And of course the shuriken sort of headband as well. But otherwise I think the framing, the color palette, just kind of maintaining the integrity of the original design in a lot of ways. She has her signature cross slash across her face there. And she has this calm, collected, but nonetheless very intimidating smile and expression going on all the same. So Reina is going to be the 4-star focus unit of the banner. She is going to come with an inheritable bow, Kumo Yumi Plus. It's 7 might. Effective against flying foes, unit can move to a space adjacent to any ally within 2 spaces. If unit initiates combat, unit attacks twice. At start of combat, if foe's HP is greater than or equal to 75%, grants +4 to all stats to unit during combat. That's actually a really good inheritable bow. Yeah, I mean, it's a brave bow for one thing, but it has all of these other effects built into it. You have the teleportation ability, being able to warp, and then you also have the stat boosts, like +4 to all stats, very, very nice, as sort of an in-combat buff too. That it's a good set of abilities. As far as inheritable bows go, this one's up there, I gotta say. Glimmer for the special, attack speed catch 3, and speed defense rain 3 for the C slot. So attack speed catch 3, obviously that's a great stepping stone set of skills to get to attack speed catch 4. And then speed defense rain 3 is just a solid C slot skill in general to have for flyers. Just again, doing more damage, increasing the ability to double. That's just a powerful set of debuffs. So I gotta say that despite her not having her own unique weapon, and despite her being a 4-star focus unit, she comes equipped with a pretty great kit overall. Like, her bow, I think, is solid. The attack speed catch 3 is, again, it leads into catch 4, which is going to be one of her optimal A slot skills. Rain skill on the C slot. Glimmer. There's not really a wasted slot for her, and I think that's a great thing for a 4-star focus unit. And of course, as a 4-star focus unit, she is going to be an easier merge project. But overall, as far as a 4-star focus unit kit, it's solid. It's solid. It could be a lot worse. It could be a lot worse. We've seen a lot worse. Yeah, no, I think they did well with her. So once again, we have the duo of Sanaki and Micaiah as cavalry red tome units. Sanaki, of course, has that vibrant red that goes very, very well with her violet hair. A little bit of a Shrine Maiden inspiration, I think, to her outfit. She's holding what was presumably a Ninpo scroll in her hand. Lots of little gold effects add a little flourish to her outfit. Some straps, some rope, some dangling jewelry as well. And then, of course, you've got Micaiah maintaining her original color palette, but in this sort of more traditional Kunoichi outfit. She actually looks really good in it. It's very fitting for her, very flattering. I like the teal scarf that she has too, matching the teal ribbon and the ropes and accessories that she has. The high ponytail, it's a good look for Micaiah. I gotta say, she should wear it more often because she's rocking it. But yeah, I think they both look great. Again, not really traditionally how well, that's part of the fun of seasonals, I guess. Characters that you wouldn't necessarily think of when you think of a theme, but like, obviously designed in a way that's very fitting, and I think they look great. Okay, so Radiant Scrolls. Again, red tome. It's going to be their own unique red tome. 8 might, enables Kanto Remainder. Has a killer slaying effect. Unit attacks twice. either on enemy phase or player phase. If unit initiates combat or is within 2 spaces of an ally, inflicts attack res -6 on foe during combat, deals damage equal to Y during combat, excluding AoE specials, and reduces the effect of foes' non-special, reduces damage by X% skills by percentage equal to Y times 4 during combat. Y equals the total penalties among target and foes within 2 spaces of target. Example, if Y times 4 equals 64, a foe with reduces damage by 45% skill would reduce damage by 17% instead. Gee whiz. So if we're taking a look at the calculation here, just to make it more convoluted, she has a damage reduction effect. I mean, that's basically what it's saying at the end. There's a damage reduction, so she can reduce enemies' damage reduction by a certain percentile, and that percentage is based around a calculation of Y times 4. And Y ends up being the total number of penalties among the target and foes within 2 spaces of the target, which is pretty nice. I'm guessing what that means is if one target has a penalty on them, like exposure, and then an ally of that target within 2 spaces also has exposure, that should still count as 2. Right, I would think, right? Even though it's the same debuff, it's on 2 characters, so it would just add all together all of the debuffs on all of those allies, which means she's going to work very, very well with Heather, of course, because all of those debuffs on the enemy are going to stack together to increase her Y, and her Y is not only this damage reduction, but it is also, in fact, the just a true damage quotient as well. She just does damage equal to Y as true damage, which as a brave unit is a really powerful ability. That does mean that irrespective of the damage neutralization and damage reduction and everything else, that set value is going to happen. So that being the case, and then of course having the special cooldown, the Kanto remainder, the debuff on the enemy of res -6 is going to be very, very strong. So yeah, that's going to be very effective. Iceberg for the special means they are going to have pretty high res, it seems, and of course the attack -6 as part of the Radiant Scrolls is going to increase their tankiness. A Flared Mirror for the A slot. If unit initiates combat, deals 7 damage to foe as combat begins. Effect that reduces damage during combat do not apply. Will not reduce foes' HP below 1. Grants attack +7, res +10 to unit during combat, and applies Divine Vein Flame on 5 spaces in a line centered on foe's space. Okay, so that's a whole host of different things in there. So it is, I mean, at a base level, it's attack +7 and then res +10, in addition to 7 chip damage at the start, before the combat, or as combat begins, but before the actual attack. It's a pretty unique ability, and well, it's tied to an inheritable skill, but it's pretty unique that we haven't really seen that too often, if at all, tied to an offensive skill like this. And then having a Divine Vein as part of it too is a cherry on top. That's a pretty powerful one too, that's going to have additional chip damage considerations. So yeah, it's a pretty interesting A-slot skill that opens up a lot of opportunities. You got Sabotage, attack res 3, and defense res ploy 3 for the B slot and the C slot. So just an assortment of debuffs on the enemy to reduce the enemy's res to shambles, basically, in a lot of ways. The ploy skill just uses their formidable res stat, I'm sure, whatever it might be. We're going to take a closer look. But whatever their res stat is, in order to act as a condition for the actual cardinal direction ploy effect for defense res -7 and exposure on foes through their next actions, and then the Sabotage attack res as well, with a series of debuffs associated with it. Yeah, and then targeting each. Yeah. So yeah, that is a powerful set of abilities. All in all, hand in hand, it's all centered around maximizing their damage potential as a brave unit. They're not going to be quadding. I don't think their speed is going to be anything to write home about. It's all about the attack and res, so they are going to be pretty tanky. And not only that, they're going to use the res to basically activate all of these other debuffs on the enemy, ensuring that their res gets debuffed to shambles to maximize the amount of damage that they do. True damage built in there, damage reduction built in there, special cooldown as well in order to help them activate the iceberg. Just all really, really potent stuff. and they are going to be a cavalry ranged brave mage. And that combination alone is pretty scary and deadly, and kind of leads the way to, of course, certain ether rate defense implications and things like that. Yeah, so taking a look here, 24 speed, like I said, it's not going to be anything to write home about. Also, pretty darn low on the defensive stat as well. It's all about the attack and res, min-maxing on those two stats. And we can take a look here at the duo skill. So grants unit another action. May only be used if unit has already entered combat during the current turn. So very, very straightforward. It's basically, Ninja Lin's duo skill as well. And honestly, it doesn't really need to do much more than that. Quite frankly, that effect alone, that self-refresh, is powerful enough, especially in the context of an offensive brave unit with extreme range. So once again, our path ahead, the Ninja Seasonal Banner of 2023, starting from November 6th until December 6th, basically the entire month. I gotta say, all of the characters seem pretty strong. I mean, are they must-haves? I mean, if you're trying to build certain ether rate defenses with a cav line or some similarity to a cav line, I think you would certainly get a lot of utility and a lot of value out of the duo here. I think they're certainly front and center, one of the strongest units on the banner, of course. But then you've got Zelgius, who's a tried and true archetype, and at the same time, that special gives him staying power. I think with that special, he's never going to be bad. You're always going to be able to build him up. He's always going to be powerful because he uniquely has that ability. And then Heather, I love the design of Heather. Art is beautiful, but not only that, just her kit and the archetype that she has on the battlefield, I think is an interesting one. It's one that we haven't really seen in too much capacity. And we've seen a couple of instances of support assist based units, but I think the way they did it with her is there's a lot of finesse to it, and I think they did it pretty well. And then Reina as the 4-star focus unit, look, I mean, her kit's not amazing, but I think it's really, really solid as a 4-star focus unit. I think every single one of her skills has a place and can be built upon, and I think that she's a great merge project as well. So I think this is a really fun banner. I think it's a really powerful banner. Is it a must summon? No, I wouldn't say that it is. And for me personally, I'm probably just gonna do the first circle to try to get Heather, I think. So I'm probably just gonna summon on the greens and maybe the duo as well. I don't really know, but I'm probably not gonna end up going in on this banner, or at least I'm going to wait to try to get these units maybe on a future double special hero banner, something like that. But yeah, I do like the banner though, I really do. It's just I have other kind of competing priorities for the moment. So, but let me know in the comments below if you guessed the units on this banner, if you're excited for the units on this banner, which characters you're going to be summoning for, if any. Hopefully you all enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to leave us a like, comment, subscribe to the channel for more Fire Emblem Heroes content. We thank you all so much for watching, for taking time out of your day to spend with us. We really do appreciate it. And until next time, let's protect those skies.